What's up, guys? Ivan here with getivan.com, and in this video we're going to be doing two different things at the same time. I'm going to do a scrape that is very shallow but uses a large number of keywords as a sort of case study to see which gives a greater yield, because most of my scrapes are 30 to 50 to even greater depths, and then I'll use 1 to 5 keywords, and then I'll permutate them with a lot of cities. And in my experience in the past, I haven't tested this in a long time, but in my experience, those permutating with cities, even doing e-commerce scrapes, provides a much better yield. But in this case, I'm going back to using a large number of keywords just as a test to see what we can get. So excuse me. We're going to start this off by doing a search on solar panel installation. Every once in a while, I get like a bizarre number of simultaneous orders for two niches in particular. One is solar panel installation, and the other one is like CBD or cannabis delivery, those kinds of things, and sometimes dental information. So I've been meaning to do some more work on solar panel installation, so let's do that right now. And I'm going to start by doing a search here, and then I'm just going to grab longtails using keywords everywhere. I think I want to use longtails. Let's see, people also search for, that might be good, related keywords. Let me see what happens if I click this. Find related keywords. Oh, is this another tool they're trying to sell me on? Let me see. I was signed up to Keyword Keg years ago, and I didn't like what it did. I guess they're owned by the same people. No, I'm not trying to do that. Let's do people also. Let's see what happens if I do people also search. No. Let's just grab these bulk long tails here. I'm going to click find. And let's also look in big Q, or whatever this is called, by Q. And let's also do, what is it? Solar panel installation. Just going to be neat to see what kind of yield it gives us. And then I also want to come into this SE ranking and do solar panel installation. I see how many terms they throw our way. It's like 870 in their system, and then ByQ has about 600. And then let's look at keywords everywhere is querying. So let's skip ahead to when this is finished. Okay, so this seems to have yielded 540 or so. And those are pretty good terms. So those kind of seem better than some of the other things we were looking at. Let's go ahead and copy this. Yeah, or no, we don't want to copy. Let's go to CSV, and I'm going to save them in this folder. And then just go ahead and combine these. Let me open these. What do I got here? Let's open both of these. Copy this. Let me just delete this top row. And then let's come down here to the bottom, and I'll open this other file up. Delete this. Control Shift down arrow, copy this over here. And then let's go ahead and copy this column and just start working in one of the VPS servers. Let's go into the red server. Or, yeah, let's go into this red server. And let's see if we can paste all this. Yeah, that pasted fine. That one's kind of jacked up. Let's go ahead and delete that. Can't really do anything about those locations. Where's the remove? Here we go. That's normally how I do it, and of course there are going to be some things included in there. There's about 1,000 in there, so let's grab the calculator and make a calc. Let's pin this to this taskbar. So normally if we had 5 keywords by 5,000 cities in a basic search engine thing by 30 depth, 750,000 potential URLs. So that's kind of like a general range we want to hit in this test because we don't want to go too deep because otherwise the processing time will take too long. We don't really need to be sitting around that long. Right now we've got 1,100 or so terms. So if we were to go 10 results deep, we don't have a locations, vector or whatever. So we kind of got to inflate it as much as we can to get as many results as we can. So that's just 11,000. So we could literally go, 50 times bigger than this, and we would be under the processing requirements to keep it manageable. So let's go ahead and do, let's see, 1,100 times the maximum number of results, which would be 200. So that's 220K potential URLs. Let's see what that gets us. Let's make sure that we're removing anything that does not include the word solar. So remove URLs not containing solar. And, we could probably get a lot more keywords than this. Let's take a look at what Google Ads has in their system. They've been cutting out a lot of volume recently, but let's just see. Okay, so discover new keywords. Let's go solar panel installation. Yeah, solar panel installations. Solar. And it'd be better if we could do more seeds because they're not going to give us a huge number. Solar panel installation companies. I gotta be careful because if we just put solar panel or if we just put solar panel company, like goes into the product side rather than the installation side. So let's kind of see what it does for us. 880. So that's pretty similar to the yield we have. There's got to be more questions. We could try using Scrapebox to scrape for results. Let's try that. I haven't used the keyword thing in a really long time. Let's just use the sample we have and come in here and go import, or what's it, scrape, keyword scraper. What do I have? Let me make sure we're right proxies. I get data center proxies. Don't want to do from Google here. Haven't used this in a long time, so I'm going to look like a bit of a noob on this one. Apologies. Let's try use proxies. Let's just see how long level 1 takes. Select sources. Here we go. Let's do Yahoo. Let's do if we can do YouTube. Let's see. Bing search. Yahoo. Well, that's Yahoo Shopping. Shopping.com. Ask. Android Market. eBay. let's go ahead and close this and see how this operates. Start. Quite slow. Is that worth waiting? I ask myself. Does a solar panel installation cost? Solar panel installer due? It's probably not that many really worth inflating it with keywords all that much. How much processing power does this take up? It's not too much. Maybe we can let that run while the primary scrape processes, just to kind of we'll let that run. Hopefully it won't. Hopefully all the extra threads won't be too bad. Okay, so let's just go ahead and run this, and let's go 200 results deep. So we need to come in and edit the automator process. Let's load the traditional template for our last video. And we'll go well, since I'm doing it like this, I guess you would technically have to cut this part of the process out. So you load proxies. Let me think. It's just the keywords. So this merges. Then we import keyword export. Merge with niche terms. So in this case, we actually have to be a little bit destructive. So let's go ahead and remove this command. And then remove this. And we'll just import niche terms. And then under harvester, we'll go 200. And we'll save this to a temp file. And so I'm obviously running this inside the automator. But to do this over in this area normally, you basically just have to put these results to 200 right here. And then put your keywords right here. So that's it. You just put your keywords there, put this section to 200, and then just hit start harvesting pretty much. But obviously when you go to harvest, you select Yahoo and then make sure your proxies are loaded, of course. But the automator is going to do a whole lot of stuff to allow us to get a much higher yield. But how are we doing over here? This is not even too far from being finished. We'll just run this anyways. We can always run it again. So let's go ahead and activate our automator sequence. Let's clear out this date. Oh, you know what? I didn't even put this into the permutations file. So let's our permutations, niche terms there. And then let's go activate our automator job. So boom. Let's make sure that it could be that I missed. Could be that I missed something. Load proxies, import keyword, URL list, harvest URLs. Huh. Looks like something is glitched. Let's make sure that it's not the proxies. Let's do a quick dry run here. Hopefully it's not this interfering. Gotta close this. It's clearly glitched. Let's do purple blanket, red pillow, orange hat. And let's harvest this from Yahoo. Yeah, it's pulling URLs. So it's not a problem with the proxies. It's a problem with something that I did wrong on the automator. So let's open up that automator sequence again. Let's load our temp file. All right, so we load the proxies, import the niche terms. Oh, you know what? This is the problem. I didn't change this in the temp file. So I need to select a folder. So it should be, excuse me, select a file. Permutations, niche terms. And then save this as temp. And so now it should work. I rarely change these sequences, so I'm not accustomed to doing all that. All right, so let's run this temp file. And so after we run this test here, what I'd like to do is also test the email the premium email plugin. Let's see. I like to test the premium email plugin here for the email scraper under, let me see here, the custom crawler, because I want to see like how much additionally useful data we can stack with this, because what my automator sequence does is it collects the URLs, and then I kind of do a little bit of handling in the last phase so that I can handle the pre-filtering more directly. And one of the things that I find annoying is having to scrape the metadata manually, because sometimes some sort of unknown series of characters could sneak in, which forces the data to drop, and it won't line up whenever I copy paste it, and I have no idea which symbols are being included to make it do that. So I a few times with some orders just recently, I've had to go and scour through and find like where the metadata gets misaligned, and when you got tens of thousands of files, like it's just kind of a pain. So I'd like to see if the scraping of emails is much faster independently, but if I can do both at the same time and not have to babysit it so much, then even though there's only like up to 200, actually, you know what? And they updated this recently. Does it only go to 200? Let's try 500 here. They might have increased this. I was looking at this. I don't know. See, it switches to 200. It was 100 before, I believe. So it's only 200, but which will make the email scrape slower. But at the same time, if I can get all of that at the same time, then that could be useful, you know. And maybe there's another piece of data that could be useful that's more generic that I could include in there somehow. So that might be something to consider. Anyways, that's kind of what I'd like to configure, because that might be better for my final phase of scraping emails from now on. Let's take a look at this scrape, and then I'll probably skip ahead to whenever it's finished. Yeah, it's 20% done, so let's skip ahead to when this is finished. Looks like something went wrong here at this phase. On the alive check, let's see. Execute external program. Wait for a delay, alive check. Not sure what went wrong. It should not be glitching. Let's go to abort and close this process. Let's go ahead. Not sure why this was closed. Let's see, unless I just did it and did not realize. Oh, this is my... Okay, I gotta blow this up. Here we go. Let's kill this alive check. Kinda lame that that glitched like that. Let's go into our file and take a look at our tier 1 resources. Just handle this manually at this point. This will be, because it really shouldn't be glitching, but because I cut something out, maybe that's the reason why. Okay. So tier 1 URL alive should be processed, and root. So let's grab the root here, and let's go ahead and do some permutations on our own. Should be easy enough. So let's grab these contact pages. Should not be a space there. And then grab the tier 1 to URL root. And we'll go copy this. Let's put this into a text file. Place all these spaces. Drop them here, and let's go alive check. Scriptfox Harvester. So this is where it left off. Really shouldn't have been a problem. 77K is not too bad. So then we can just combine this sample with the root sample and just do it manually from this point on. So let's jump ahead to that point. Okay, so we are looking at 102K after combining all 3 samples. So that's not bad. You know, if I can get it up to around... Did we do any keyword filtering though? I don't think we did. Yeah, we didn't do any actual metadata level keyword filtering, which may be helpful. Let me see. Let's look at the... Probably got quite a few. Let me copy this to clipboard. Some news. Yeah. Let's export this to final URL here, just on the desktop, and just out of curiosity, remove URLs not containing Solar. Okay. Let's go ahead and filter by metadata. So let's grab the meta just to make sure that Solar is in those pages. I mean, it could also just be General Electric companies. Let's see. But then again, Solar should be in their meta description, although some of these people probably aren't filling out some of that sometimes. But yeah, let's go ahead and do that. So let's skip ahead to that. Okay, so let's export this as pre-meta. That was where I was last, so I guess they opened me up there. And then let's go close this. Normally I would label all this better, but I'm just trying to be quick here. Let's change this file extension to .text so we can, sorry about that, so we can handle the file and scrape box here. I'm going to drop this in. It would be ideal to crunch it down by some sort of install phrase, but let's go ahead and do solar. We'll probably still get product-oriented samples, but we'll just see. So remove URLs not containing solar. Wow, that was half the sample. I'm curious. Let's look at that again. Oh, look at these keywords are finished. Let's export these. Save all keywords to scrapebox keywords. Are these? I must be over here. Let's just go ahead and close this and see how big this is. 5K. Copy this over here and let's remove URLs not containing install. Oh wow, so that did jump it up to 2200. So that's about double the sample. Remove URLs not containing solar. All right. So that was actually better, which is pretty interesting. Got even more keywords. Well, some of them could be locality. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like some of them are. So it was decent, but oops. Let me pop this up and drop this in here just for reference later. Might want to check that out. Anyways, let's drag this pre-meta in here and just kind of look at it briefly. It's probably, well, I don't know. Even products would have solar in them. Green light, commercial property. Inspection. Okay, green living. Solar charger. Not quite seeing how half of these were bogus. Oh, I guess could have just been a lot of repeat listings, but okay, so we'll just go ahead and take that. Out of curiosity, let's copy this and remove URLs not containing install. So that really drops it down significantly. A sample like that would probably yield several thousand, which is in the range of what I shoot. Sorry about that. In the range of what I have on file. So let's take a look at what I have. Where did I put that? It should be under tech. And then energy. So it should be this. Oh, this is old. Let me delete that. It should be this file right here. Let's see how many I have in here. I've done some very deep scrapes. At the moment, let's see what we have. 10,000 verified and valid. What's the meta filter applied? There's a filter. Oh, for verified. Okay. And then let's look at, let's see, solar power. Let's see, 8K. Yeah, there's a lot of metadata missing. Over 2K meta title missing. And over half the meta description, so that's not cool. Let's try. I wonder why. I must not have filtered it. Well, no, I don't know. It's hard to say. Let's see. Yeah, there's no. Oh, solar is up in this line item. I must have filtered it. Let me see. Yeah, solar panel prices, first solar power, sun power. Okay, well, I can't filter by this column because it'll be too destructive. This is the problem with Excel. You can't be like this and this in two different columns. At least not that I'm aware of. Maybe you can with a plugin or something. Or wait a second. If I select both of these, is there a way to filter? I don't know. I don't want to figure it out. Or actually, what if I select the whole sheet, sort and filter, custom sort, filter? I don't know. Let's try the meta title though. Just see what. Let's do solar and click OK. And that drops it to about 6.7K. So that's actually within the range of what I would expect to get from this sample. Well, it's probably about a third, and then a third of that is valid. So we could run this like this. Here, let me go back and, oh shoot, didn't mean to do that. Let's go back to this here. I'm concerned about running the scrape on this sample because I feel like there might be a lot of, yeah, I see types of solar inverters. So I don't really want products, systems, kits, commercial solar panels. There could also be a term that describes installation in using a different word. So we got to be careful not to request a quote on a home solar power system. Request a quote for a solar electric system for your home or business. Unbound solar. So I guess that's also an issue, is if they don't include the word install, that wouldn't be good. Franchise opportunity, panels. Let's see what happens if we just look for the word quote. It's pretty small. Let's copy this, and then let's go back and drop this in, looking for solar, and then looking for install. And then let's append this list, and that didn't really do anything for us. Well, let's go ahead and run this sample. Let's go ahead and export this as, well, did I already? I already labeled the final URL file. So what would this be? Well, actually, we're not done handling it. This let's remove everything after quote comma. And then we'll copy this over into a random text file. And we'll go remove / quote comma, replace all. And then remove quote comma, replace all, remove quote, replace all. Let's copy this over and scrub for duplicates, so a little bit less than 15K. And make sure we scrub for things that aren't URLs and IPs. And then let's export this to final URL post meta. after pre-meta. I know this is sloppy, but I'm just gonna hurry up and run this. And let me close this. And then I'm gonna go to the custom or the email plugin and run this little scrape. This is a small sample. Like, this is very small. I guess it's kind of common for this niche. It's hard to get really good data for this niche because, some people that ask me for this stuff, they have this impression that solar panel installation is this huge niche. And it's true that it's on the rise, but it is not very big. There's not that many companies that are out there offering this as a service that are specialists. It's a specialist branch of the electrical, industry or whatever. It's not nearly as big as your general electrician's industry. And oftentimes in scrapes I've done, you see tons of duplicate rankings for powerhouse entities, powerhouse domains. There's a smaller number of high influence companies that are doing this. Essentially, it's not as mainstream as other things in the relative field. So this is something I plan on doing a contact form catfishing type of method with for sites that use contact pages or that use contact forms, because this would be a great niche to expand into, because I get requests for this once in a while. It's one of those specialty requests. So okay, let's go into the premium plugins and open up the Email Scraper Premium, and then let's go to the custom crawler. Let's load the URLs from Scrapebox, and then let's go to, edit definitions. Okay, and so this is kind of a tricky thing. I don't actually know what the rejects is for emails from Scrapebox. That would have been good to. I need to go find some rejects for that real quick, and then get that figured out. Let me think. Should I put the? Yeah, I need to do the email first. So email, and we'll go. Or wait, a definition for custom crawler. Well, I guess I could call it email. That's fine. And and we'll just call this field email. And oh, here we go. Valid only when such and such is in the value. I wonder if this will just automatically apply the rejects. I doubt it. I need to test it. So let's try email field and see if it just works. Add as new field, and then we'll go URL, and this needs to be field will not be modified. Expand relative URL to full URL. I'm not sure what that's supposed to mean. Let's just put non-modified URL. Add this as a new field, and I don't see the rendering happening properly. Let's make sure that the width is decent. Oh, okay, I see. Let's try this, update. Okay. And let's just do it like this, I guess, and keep it within a relative viewable here. Then let's go, let's see, new field, and we'll go Well, you know what? What's tricky? Well, the verification, the all this the side by side data will go through the verification process, so this is fine. Okay, let's go meta title and add a 0 here, and add as new field. Now I do need to find the metadata, so let's look on the internet. Let's do a search for gerbil food, and let's just find some website, look at some of the source code, and make sure that, I mean, to my knowledge, it's just title HTML, but I kind of want to just look at some random websites and see if there's any variation in source code. So title should just be what do gerbils eat? Yeah, it should just be title. Yeah, that's what I thought it would be. It's usually up here. Some of these sites are doing weird stuff. Here we go. So here's the title right here. I was wondering because sometimes you see meta expressions, so I was wondering how it might do that. Okay, let's just do it like this: title / title, and then update field. Yeah, and then we'll go new field, meta description. Make sure it's 100. As new field. Oh, you know what? I didn't set the meta title. Let's see, text field. Any character is valid. Spaces and tabs are removed before and after. Before and after. Kind of sounds like what we would want to do there. Let's just say any text, any character is a valid update field. And then let's go to the meta description. Should be any characters are valid update. And then we just need to grab description. Content equals such and such. Content equals, I need to make sure that this is uniform, so excuse me. Meta name description content equals, yeah, that seems to be fairly typical. We got /. Yeah, okay. Equals quote / boom. Okay. And then update field. Now I kind of want to see if there's anything else we might want to include here in terms of metadata. Um, nobody does keywords really, because that's kind of what the typical meta scraper pulls in. But the whole point of the metadata is to make it easier to topically organize. But I mean, it's kind of hard to determine what the average site would use other than title and description. So might not be anything to put here that would be similarly typical. Let me think about this. If we're taking this data from a page for the purpose of having the contact, being able to sort through topically, it might be kind of useful is to have a column with just like the root domain, but it's kind of in the URL. It's not really a resource to be able to sort through. Geez. The H1 might be useful. Yeah. I mean, you can kind of see that in the slug of the URL and the metadata, the meta title. Let me see something. Title. This one's called 10 Best Durable Foods 2021. Review top picks, Pat Keen. Then let's look at the H1. Yeah, it's pretty much the same. Maybe the H2. 10 Best Durable Food Reviews. And most people, I mean, most sites don't necessarily even do H tags. Excuse me. Oh, pardon me. Let's take a look at, what was the other site we were on? What did gerbils eat? Let's look at this one. What do gerbils eat? Pet gerbil dietary requirements. H1. Or let's try this. So this dude does it by class, so that might not even work. Yeah. It's going to be the same as the H1 title in a lot of cases. So that's kind of pointless. Well, if something occurs to me, I guess I can come and update it, but this will save me time and stop this issue from happening that I've been having to copy paste the metadata. So this should be better. Let's make this 200 width, and let's make this one 200 width, and might as well make everything a little bit bigger. Hopefully these fields will work. Email field. Okay. Let's save. Custom header data. Should be good to go. All right. Let's drop our thing in there and see what... Oh, I need to configure these because I haven't. Oh, yeah, and this has a filter now. Well, the other one has a filter, but you kind of got to be careful of that. Any words in the URL. Let's pump. This is a new server, so I got to add this data. 500. Nope. let's just do that. First level connects, timeout in 15 seconds, read timeout in 30 seconds. It's interesting that it's kind of like low, that low. That might be better. That would be something to test again also. I mean, I've done a lot of these tests, but I often forget. So load proxies from file. Let me just make sure there's no sensitive data here. Okay, that's set up. I gotta be careful not to click options there because it reveals some sensitive proxy information there, so I gotta be careful about that. But okay, URLs are in there. Let's get it started. All right. Forbidden. All right, it's getting the metadata. It's not getting the emails and URLs. Well, how can it get the... Oh, I see. Okay, so it can get the metadata because it's looking at the URL, but apparently I haven't defined these areas properly, so it's not getting us the email and the URL. So let's go back into edit definitions and see. Field will not be modified. URL field will not be modified. URL field expand relative URL to full URL. I don't know what that means. Okay. I don't know how to tell it to look at, to pull the URL from that. Seemed like the meta part worked as expected. Be nice if there was a URI sort of field that was maybe universal to most HTML. And I'm kind of in the dark on this, so apologies for seeming ignorant here. Yeah, it's got to be something, I guess, regex based. Field will not be modified versus expand relative URL to full URL. Excuse me. Let's just do a search in terms of regex. Regex for the URL. Wait a second. Maybe I'm overcomplicating this. What happens when I click export? Save grid content as Excel file with source URLs. Oh, I see. So we don't actually need a URL field because it's already there. So we'll just, what does this look like in the autosave? Let's look at the plugins, Email Scraper Premium, autosave. Let's drop this here. Renewable energy installations. Oh wow, it's like an entire page. Jeez. Did they save the entire page data? That's pretty crazy. Well, probably need to put that. Well, we don't need that. Let me kill that. Yeah, we don't need this field though. Let's delete this field. I guess the URL will come in at the end or something. Like, it's fine. Then the email, that's a problem. We need to get some rejects for that. Rejects for email on page. To get a valid email ID, we use a regular expression. Go to validate an email ID. If return true, invalid email address. This would be it right here. Let's test it. We can come over here to, I got this testing thing. Is it, I don't remember which one it is. Maybe it's this one. Let's open both of these. Yeah, it's this one. Put this expression here. Hop at derp.com. One match. Let's try. No. At .net. That matched. Like it will probably work. .net. .et. .et. Okay. Well, it does seem to sort of do what we need it to do. Let's take a look at. Where's my server? Here it is. Okay. Let's look at some of the other ones that came up. Some of the here we go. Rejects library or whatever. Regular expressions.info. Emailrejects.com. Emailrejects.com. Email address regular expression that super works. Disagree? Join the discussion. Just copy and paste the email rejects below for the language of your choice. Feeling hardcore or crazy? Read the official such and such. You can check out this email validation summary. There is no perfect email rejects. Python, JavaScript, HTML5, PHP, oh my gosh. C#. Given that there are two differing requirements and that 99% of users can be validated simply by checking something like this, it makes sense to do that loose check, then do strict definition check. Yeah, we just need a loose check because the email verification will actually do the rest, which is really the main benefit of email verification. This is a beast. Jeez. Kind of want to test this real quick. Who do at Gmail. Escape delimiter must be escaped with a backslash. But is it written improperly? Match a single character present in the list. It's kind of hard to tell. Huh. That one didn't proc. And then let's that's strange. Let's try the other one though. I don't like this one. Let's go back, grab our string. Probably being too picky, I just kind of make sure that we're getting something decent. Does not match the subject string. Well, all of these should match the subject string. Hamburger at email.com. Well, that's weird. It worked earlier. Why doesn't it work now? Let's try refreshing this page. Mail at mail.com. Oh, I see. Not identifying it just as text on page. Let's try, need to grab some content somewhere. See if we can find an email. Let's look at the source. Oh, we got all those. Let's see. Well, I did put, let's see, put @.com. Let's try Gmail. Try this. Oh, that's odd. It should be showing me. Here we go. Info at Solar Saves. So let's grab the source here and let's copy this over, and we'll use this if the regular expression is gonna. Maybe I don't understand how this works. Maybe it's just like. But to me, it should be able to identify on the page, right? That's what I would figure. Because that's kind of what we want it to latch, right? In that particular chunk. Let's try this again. Of course, it's got some issues, so we'll see how it goes. Unescaped delimiter must be escaped with a backslash. So there's backslash. It's cool that they give you recommendations. Yeah, look at that. It found it. That's pretty sweet. So that might be the one to use right there. Let's do another test though. Let's go. What language? Delphi is a language. That's the language of scrape blocks, but I guess it wouldn't even matter. They don't even have support for Delphi. Unless Delphi is written in something else. What language is Delphi written in? I believe Delphi is a language, so just want to make sure. Haskell programming, object Haskell programming, object Haskell. All right, let's see if there's any object Haskell. I doubt it. Yeah. We could just use what this guy said down here, simplified version. Let's go try what he gave. And then move on. All right. Let's drop this in here. Yeah, that did not work. We need the big one because it identifies the exact string. That's what we really need. So that's probably what we'll do. I mean, somebody made an entire website called emailrejects.com just for this purpose. So kind of feels like that's what we need to use. Let me look at this rejects. Okay. Didn't I open? Yeah, I opened some other tabs. Let's look at some of this stuff. I think we tried. That was the one we tried at first. That one it seems to work on a line-to-line basis, but not with like a chunk of data. So this is a really popular site, regexlib.com. There's hundreds of these, though. We found one that works. I'll probably just go with that one. I've seen this site featured. Let's just go ahead and go with what we know. That's a big chunk of rejects, but probably should do a video making sure to share this, put this in somewhere safe. Of course, it's not properly structured, but with apparently that backslash needs to be corrected. Backslashes need to be inserted. Sweet. All right, let's just move on with this. Taking some time here. And I kind of want to keep this website in mind. Close this stuff. It's quite easy to remember, of course, emailrejects.com. And then need to put this here. Beautiful. All right. Save this. Make sure to go back in there and confirm that this is working. When I save it, should be good to go. Okay, let's close this and add that definition again and see what happens. We got the URLs, so start. That's awesome. No metadata though? How can that be? Oh, is it still processing? Oh, maybe something glitched. I need to save this metadata into a text file. Email, or not metadata, rejects. Email rejects. All right. Let's put that over there. Something's wrong here. This is frozen or something. Oh, that's not good. Let's and you know, this could be run by the automator actually this program, but wouldn't be able to click into the crawler, so that's kind of lame. All right, let's kill the email script premium plugin because something went wrong, and let's rerun it. Custom crawler. Load from scrapebox. What the heck? Where's my definition? I don't think I opened it over here. No, it just didn't save. Oh my gosh. What a pain. That needs to be fixed. That's a huge problem. How can that be? Let me close this. That seems like a huge glitch. Unless deleting that file is what caused me the issue. Let's put this file, or you know what? Can we just restore? Make sure that it's back in there though. Well, no, it's just not even here. It's just gone. Well, that's weird. Need to save those definitions. Custom crawler. Wow. That is really not cool. Let me look at something. Okay, so I've re-added the definition, and then I'm going to come into the email scraper premium, and why can't I see the definitions? This is weird. I want to be able to save that data. That seems kind of dangerous. I'm not doing something correctly. Should be able to see edit or create definition for custom crawler. Here's the definition. New definition, delete definition. No. That's a definition there. I said all this. Yeah. Alright. So there's that. Let me try to open another instance and see if it saved it, because it kind of seems like it's just not saving it. What the heck, dude? This thing is not saving my definitions. Export, grid content. Keyword. Well, that is a huge problem. Let me look at the available plugins, see if there's... Okay, there needs to be an update. Maybe that's the problem. Alright, let me close this and run this update. Okay, I'm not sure why it's telling me it needs to install something with the automator. Let me skip ahead. Updated, and we're going to go in and see if we can save a definition now. That's like a huge problem. I don't get how that could remain a problem for any duration of time. Let's edit this definition. Oh, it's still there. Okay. I was freaking out there. Okay. So the definition is in there. Let's go to the folder. Let's go to the folder and save that just in case. Yay. Just copy this over here for the moment. I want to open this up also and see what's inside. Oh, it's got a structure to it. Man, if you wanted to, I guess that you could sort of structure your columns outside of the interface, like in a programmatic manner. You could technically create some really complicated files. So that's pretty interesting. Let's open this one up. can't see into that one, if there's even anything there. All right, so let's select our definitions. Should be good to go. And trying to start this forever. This metadata is not coming through though. Oh, don't tell me it's. Is it frozen again? Oh, that's just the data that it picked up so far. Nine threads. Huh, that's odd. It's frozen again. I might need to contact support and just get an answer from them on their regex recommendations, because that could be what's causing the problem. It's a really big chunk of rejects. So let's try to kill this. And then I want to reopen it and see if it deleted the footprint, just the definition. No, it's still there. Okay. Let me look into the options, make sure that nothing's messed up. Yeah, it turned out that the options had been reset also. So I just checked and I reset those and re-entered my, like, it was scraping without proxies, and then it only had 10 connections, so those threads were just stuck for some reason. So let's try it again now. Golly, it sure is troublesome. Hopefully this isn't too different of an engine that it's just getting stuck. It could still be a regex problem. Let's see what happens. So we got 200 threads. We sure are getting just wildly different results, though. It's like processing it for a second, and then it's going and just freezing. It definitely sees these emails, so that's cool. It's not picking up the metadata, though, and it's just getting stuck. So that's a scrape box problem. That's some sort of weird engine problem. Well, that's a bummer. How much processing? Not taking that much process up, so we'll just let this sit here and freeze. And in the meantime, we'll just use the typical container here to grab check, just because I want to see, how the sample yields from the method. So we're kind of doing two things at once. We're looking at using the email scraper premium plugin to scrape metadata, but apparently I don't have the right regex possibly, or maybe the program is just glitched. We'll have to find out. I'm gonna send an, but the metadata has a problem pulling in also. So I'm gonna send an email to support and see what they say, and I'll do a follow-up video on the method for also including the metadata in there. But then for the moment, let's just test this sample of mails from doing keywords instead of permutations of core keywords with locations, which I still think is going to have a better yield, but let's find out. Got anything in our data folder? Nope. Oh, excuse me. Let's go ahead and start this. And it's rolling in. We also get a ton more threads, literally twice as many threads with the typical scraper. And these jobs run really quickly, so let's see how many we get in just a few minutes. Let's skip ahead. Okay, so that one finished. Looks like 10K mails. So that's pretty great. Let's grab our sample. That's more than half, so that's a pretty good yield actually. And delete the dupes file, and then close this. And then do we really, let's go ahead and solar panel. And keep in mind, this was just a sample that had the word installed and the word solar, so this is pretty topical. And that's including pre-metadata scrape. So then we'll go solar panel installation, multi-keyword sample. And we got to go in here and remove these pipings. I don't know why they put it with these pipings. You can't use this software. It verifies. Everybody's looking for commas. So I'm going to copy that, come over to our verification server. Uh-oh. Looks like it's lagging there for a second. Gee whiz. What is happening? Huh, I couldn't copy. Either the server crashed as soon as I tried to copy it. It's configured in such a way where it's not supposed to do that. Let's try an immediate connection. Should be rebooting though. Oh, maybe it just totally crashed. Yeah, quick. That was a pretty quick reboot though. I did have that other email process open, so that could be why it crashed like that. You can do I've found that you can do like 1.5 of a thing with these servers, or 1.25 of a thing, but kind of don't really want to do heavy activity servers. Okay, there it goes. So let's drop this in and verify. Oh, well, half that sample that we scraped was apparently duplicate. So this guy says don't email.me. Verify. So this is not going to be a great yield. Let's take a look at our main solar file though, just out of curiosity. Let me close this. We don't need that. I'll leave that open, and don't need this. Look at that later. So this one had solar in the meta title, right? Let's clear the filter. 10K verified valid. Let's go to contains and/or contains. Let's go and instead of or, because we want both solar and install. Oh, only 600? That's crazy. That's wild. I did not know it was that low. Let's try or install. That shoots it up to 6,700. That's more like it. Maybe there's just not that many companies that are using both in the same phrase. It's also a kind of question, if they sell solar panels, do they oftentimes install them? It's a good question. Installation information. Power to solar power products. Excuse me. Okay. Sorry about that. A lot of these are dealers, solar power products. Let's see. I've actually had customers who I've sold this to who said they made sales from this file. So a lot of these product vendors, they have to also do installation. Powerful panels going solar. Ongoing interest in solar panels has, that's a Medium post. So I guess it could be that the main focus for this industry might be that they're selling the panels and not necessarily the installation. So, they're selling the panels and that's how they're marketing the service, and they install the panels also. Native solar. See, these have installation in the meta title. So maybe I just should have done it more broadly. Solar panels, solar panel installation companies. That's something to think about for the future. Now this was a deep scrape. Let me see. Is this the file? Yeah. 4,300 cities. This should be the same file. And then 200 results. That's about as deep as it gets. Let me open this file just to make sure. This one's actually bigger. How's that possible? Unless I clean the other file in some capacity. Let me try custom filter. Contains and contains. Let's try solar and install. Oh, it's a similar quantity. $1,300. Okay. There is some missing metadata. Let's try doing something just solar. See how big the count is here. 6,700. And then let's clear this and try it over here, solar. 8,400. Hey, that's pretty significant. That's odd. Try clearing that. The sample is going to be way lower. Yeah. This is kind of a hard mode. This is hard mode. This niche, for some odd reason. Probably just need to say solar panel, or maybe solar panel, just anything solar. Any kind of solar company at all. Anyways, let's go back to the server. It's hung up on one thread. Let's go ahead and stop it. And then, how many was that? 2,600? How can that be? Let's export this. Valid uncertain. Into constellation, the keyword sample verified. Put this and just delete it here, and let's go ahead and just handle this a little bit. Place those semicolons with commas so that we can import right into Excel easy. Apparently I need to get a new mouse or something because I'm having so many issues with how this is clicking around. Keeps sticking. Hardwired stuff or something maybe. Okay. Let me put this. So let's freeze this top row. Can't seem to find a place to put my darn camera. Okay. So obviously we would want to get the metadata in this case, which is what I was hoping to do in that other program, but we're going to have to forego that. Well, we might just have to do it. I don't know if we can. Sorry, I was thinking out loud. So we're not going to get any install keywords here, but just out of curiosity, let's activate a filter and just kind of see how much the word install occurs. 1300. Well, of course, that's the whole sample. Let's make sure that this is okay. 703. Huh. That's in the URL. Let's look at the bigger file out of curiosity. Let's see. Let's clear this filter. Let's see how many. Oh, let's see. This is 10K valid. Oh, you know, that other sample, I probably didn't have the valid one selected. I was looking at that one earlier. Let's see how many times the word install occurs here. 1100. So that is better, but not by much, surprisingly, because this scrape is way deeper. So it's just vastly deeper. I mean, you're talking one keyword, 200 results, 43K. So 43K times 200. Huge, 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 huge. Divided by 200K. 43 times as big. Let's see, 8.6 million. So divided by, oops, 8. Yeah. So that sample was only 2%. A vastly large, well, no, not vastly large. We're talking about 1100 divided by 700, right? I guess it'd be 700 divided by 1100. 63%. So that if that was confusing there, what we just, at the very least, what we just found is that in the URL samples, between the two of them, this sample, let's see, when we kill this, let's clear this here. We're looking at, gosh, it's almost easy to get it confused, but let's see, 2% and I'm gonna forget it now. 60, what was it? 63%. Let's see, yeah, 60. It was roughly 64%, rounded up. 64%, and then the URL sample was 2,600 over about 10K. So 600 over 10,000. Oops. Just turn off nums lock by accident? Oh, it's weird. 100 by 10,000-ish. Well, of course, it's 26. Wasn't even thinking. So 26% of the URLs with 2% of the total sample, right? So only 2%, 26% of the total URL quantity, and only 2% of the total, or let me think here, 2% of the total depth of the search potential. So really, I guess it should be said that 2% of the total depth still yielded 26% of the total URL sample, which yielded 64% URLs with the word install. So that's an interesting little tidbit there. That's obviously, we don't have the metadata here, but you know, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's not ideal to have the deeper sample. But it's interesting because, you know, the processing time is vastly severe, and we process this just in a matter of minutes, you know, here today, or really, I guess, over the course of some hours. But it definitely, just from that standpoint, it definitely shows us, let's see, that there is a lot of potential in just using a variety of keywords. It'll get you a pretty decent result, topical result, without taking a lot of time. Obviously, you're still getting another 40% from the deeper scrape, but it's a whole lot more taxing on your resources. Let's see. This one is for solar. We got 1,900 in the URL. What was the total sample? Let me see. 2,600. Oh, okay. Because you remember, this is from the full pre-metadata scrape, so that's pretty significant. There are keywords that we're not seeing in the metadata, so we do need to do a metadata scrape here in a moment. And then over here, we need to go clear this filter and look at the word solar. And wow, 8,400. So 1,900 to 8,400. That's a pretty huge difference. So let's say 19 and let's say 1,900 to 8,400. So when it came to the word solar, 22%. Let me see here. 2% of the total depth still yield 26% of the total URL sample. Yeah, so I guess an even smaller percentage of those URLs by ratio yielded the word solar than it did install, which is interesting. But that, you know, we're just looking at ratios here, percentages and ratios, but in terms of hard numbers, obviously 8400 is quite a lot larger than, you know, 2000-ish. So that's interesting. Let's grab the metadata from this sample. We have to remove the filter, and that's also not considering filtered results, which is doubles the sample. Let's take a brief look at the uncertain. Well, I need to make sure that this is turned off. Let's just go. Okay. And how many is this? 10,000-ish. Let's look at the uncertains. Yeah, 22K. So that is a significant increase that could be effective on a drip feed. And just out of curiosity, let's look at a contains here. Let's do both, because before it was like 600 or something. So install. That kind of almost doubles it there. So that's interesting. That's not very high though, still. Let's turn that back off. And let's go back to our other file. And let's grab the metadata. I mean, some crummy samples, foreign stuff in here. It's not ideal. Some job stuff, not ideal. I still want to get the metadata though and just take a look. So let's go over here to our meta instance, grab this. It should only take several seconds really. Or I guess 30 seconds or something. So let's skip ahead. Okay, looks like our little metadata is finished. And we go post. Close. It's really silly, like how it keeps. I really don't like how it keeps putting me in different places like that. It's really not cool. All right, let's close this, and then I'm gonna go ahead and edit this with Notepad. Or no, I don't need to do this. Never mind. Let's just open this metadata. Open this up. Excuse me. I'm just gonna come in here. Paste that in. And I normally scrub by career and job, but looks like there's a little bit of that, not a lot, hopefully. But title, description. Keyword. And let's activate our filter here. Let's start A to Z. Oh, excuse me. Let's turn this off. Or not off. Just adjust it. Okay, so our sample is obviously still 4,400. Let's turn on the valids. So 2,600 valid. Let's take a look at the meta title. And let's go contains. Boom, and let's do and solar and install. And we've got, wow, 1,300. Are you kidding me? $1,300. I said and, right? Let me look at this. Wow. 1,300 versus, let's see. Let me close this. It's kind of getting me confused. On this sample, if we go contains, boom, and contains, we go solar and install. It's 600. I can't believe it. So after the metadata has been scraped, our sample goes up significantly. That is pretty amazing, because the other scrape was just way more extensive, especially because this is a local, definitely a local service, and we have way more URLs. But you know what? Some of these look like they might be foreign, so it could just be the introduction of keywords that are broad to the install topic, because there's India here, I saw Pakistan here, Philippines here. So that might be the reason why. Let's look a little bit at this. Solar panel installation. That's a legit sample. Brisbane, Queensland, that's Australia. Yeah, so it could just be that there's Perth right there. It's just like a really internationally diverse sample. So maybe that's the problem there. Some people really care. Other people do not care. Alberta, that's Canada, right? Canada. So, but I mean, I guess the point is that and you know what's crazy too, guys, is, didn't I change this? No. This was 200 results deep, but focused on long tail keywords. So, sorry, excuse me. Sorry, I got this one gnat just this one fruit fly just buzzing around and driving me nuts. But yeah, this was based on long tail keywords with a high level of depth. So that is actually really, really cool. I mean, we've still got a lot more valid mails from the deeper scrape. This is like, what was it, like 2.5K-ish or something, and then this other one was Well, wait a second. Let's run this. Let's run this test also. Let's look. What was this for install? 682. So that's pretty similar. What about solar? 6,700. And then this one was. Let's clear this and let's go install 100. And then let's try solar. 2,200. So, yeah, it's still a whole lot more males over here. But I guess the combo of those two words was more abundant in the other sample, so it doesn't necessarily mean that there are less installation companies in this bigger file. It just means that they didn't include both the word solar and install. Like this company here, Sunlit Solar, they don't have install in their title. So maybe I'm getting a little bit overly excited about that. But I still think permutations with locations is obviously more prolific because, you know, the sample is still 5 times bigger. But obviously the smaller scrape with long tails is still, I mean, it's so much faster. So like you could do that just to like test a niche, I guess, for example. But anyways, that was an interesting little case study, and this has been running on for ages. So I appreciate anybody who made it this far and watched. I guess the conclusion is that there is some value to scraping with longtails, doing deep scrapes with longtails. Like, I guess if you were running, if you just wanted to get as much as you could in the entire world, obviously you'd need to do a locality-based scrape in the U.S. and Australia and the U.K. and Canada and wherever else you would want. But and then you would want to use like a huge quantity of longtails, and then you would have a terrifying, global file. So yeah, there's some merit there, but I guess it's just something to add to the sequence. Like, you could technically have a server run through an automator process and then do the whole thing over again for each country, and then do the whole thing over again just for long tails. That's a pretty diabolical automation job. That would take days to run something like that. But I guess at the end of the road, you'd have a truly fearful file. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. Catch you later. Bye-bye.